Hi, Dr. Mark here for Natural Health. Hope you're having a great day. I think we're almost on time tonight, which is like the first time for a while. So it's great to have everybody here tonight. This is the last health shop in June. We're talking about men's health this month. And tonight we're talking about anxiety and depression, which really affects both genders. So we'll have good information for everyone here tonight. Again, as a reminder, we're here at Natural Health, and this is a chiropractic and nutritional support office. Been doing that for 40. So have a little experience in that, and been through a lot of fun things. I think it's all nice we survived the COVID thing. A little different paradigm. So as we go through some of our information tonight, this is kind of a fun one here, even though anxiety and depression seems to be a terrible diagnosis, really there's a lot of range here. And yes, there are people that as you'll see, well, Dr. Mark, of course, that's who I am, but hit the holy crap button, and if they have these problems and think it's just awful, and then we see people that are on 2, 3, 4 meds, trying to handle this stuff. And again, even if the meds work, which if they were on 4, why didn't the first one work? Why did they keep putting them on more? That kind of thing. But you're teasing why the problem is there. I mean, everybody goes through a little anxiety, depression throughout their life, in a little bit. But if it gets to be extreme, then you have to look at what's going on in there, and that's all part of healthy. It's not about controlling symptoms; it's about being healthy. So we'll go into a little bit here about staying calm, and again, that's the ability to keep your energy where it needs to be. Your mental energy, keep your emotions calm, not this up and down thing, which if you're anxious and depressed, that's more like manic. So we want to be able to keep the body calm. Now, of course, if you're in an emergency situation, you should be anxious. I mean, your energy should come up. That's the sympathetic nervous system working. Or if you're constantly, just everything's bad, well, you might need some different friends, different environment, and there may be some nutritional things going on there too, and nervous system issues that keep that body from being able to keep your body more at balance. But this is just some information we'll go through quickly. The average reported stress levels increased over the last 2 years in the U.S. with money, work, family responsibilities, and personal health concerns rounding out the top sources of significant stress. Now I put this on here, this was before 2 years ago, so we even have the COVID thing, we got gas prices, we got and all this other stuff, the Afghanistan mess, all this stuff going on, more stress and things. So there's even more things, but these are just the ones that we know about. I mean, and they're pretty common reasons to have stress, and the body should be able to handle it. It's a thing where if you get stressed, you should be able to say, yes, there's a problem there, let's handle that, rather than going back to the holy crap button and then going ballistic, or just being so depressed you can't get out of the house. So staying calm, also relaxation response is the counterpart of the stress response, a physical state of deep rest that changes physical and emotional responses to stress and may, in fact, counter stress's harmful effects. So the body, again, should be able to stay in more of a state of balance. It should be able to handle things without going to the extremes that people do there. And relaxation, again, is important in that helps the body to sleep at night. Now, many people come in here, and probably maybe the second or third biggest or major complaint we get in here is sleep issues. Can't get to sleep, can't stay asleep, wake up too much, that kind of stuff. If your sleep cycle is irritated, you're going to have a hard time repairing the body, and you're going to have a hard time getting into a relaxation response, getting into that parasympathetic nervous system response there. So again, the nervous systems are all part of this. Dr. Chip's going to talk more about that in a bit. And we look at a lot of things to do with the nutritional side of how the nerves work. We find that most people that have problems with any kind of psychological issues have a B vitamin lack. And most of the time that comes from overeating refined carbohydrates. And so, again, in my little blog this morning, I talked about if you're a person eating bagels every morning or donuts every morning for breakfast, and then by the end of the day you're depressed, well, I wonder why. Because you're burning up all the B vitamins that the nervous system needs to work correctly. So that's what we do here at Natural Health, is figure out in that person, in that patient, what does that person need compared to the next person. Some people need help with the sympathetic nervous system, some people need help with the parasympathetic nervous system. That's why Standard Process makes 2 vitamin B complexes. Cataplex B is for the sympathetic, Cataplex G is for the parasympathetic. So just important to realize there are things that we need to work with, and everybody's different. That's the problem with mainstream, in that they treat people the same. Everybody gets the same drug. You're not helping underlying causes. We're not looking at the patient's individual issues. The relaxation techniques like meditation, breathing exercises, and guided imagery help activate your body's built-in relaxation response. And these, again, are mental exercises, important too, rather than staring at CNN going, oh my God, we're all going to die of COVID, oh my God. You got to learn to get away from all that alarmist stuff going on, and realize that we've had problems throughout history. Okay, how many people survived the Black Plague? I mean, that was much worse than the COVID thing. So anyway, just realize and put things in perspective, and what relaxation techniques, breathing is so important. People get all excited and they forget to breathe. It's kind of weird, but start to pant almost, and they're not getting oxygen to the brain. So it's really important to understand that that's really important too. And people that get depressed sometimes are always looking at the negative instead of the positive. Now I realize there's definitely extremes of that range. And again, those people definitely need nutritional support and all the other supports too, and maybe medication for a while. But we should be able to get off medication. We shouldn't need to have that all the time. So we want to be, at the end of the day, what we're looking for here is not just anxiety and depression relief, but actual health. We want our bodies to be able to work correctly. So you have to know how to feed them correctly and not sabotage your body with many things that we're normally doing in this our society, even like electromagnetic frequency pollution, all the cell phone stuff and the waves and all that kind of thing. I mean, that's another stress the body has to deal with, and it's added more and more and more. I mean, but believe it or not, as old as I am, there was a time when we didn't have cell phones. We even had corded phones with, a cord on the wall. So, I mean, a lot of things have changed in the last years, and that's just one part, just the phone. How about the TVs? How about the headsets and the Bluetooth and all the stuff that goes on? And that's just EMF. That's not even talking about the chemicals in the environment, or the lack of good water, or whatever else. There's a lot of things that have changed, and we're talking about in the earlier part there in the last 2 years, but even in the last 20 years, and how much more stress our bodies are under. We have to realize that and back away from some of that stuff. So again, the bottom line is we want to be healthy, and we want to be able, our bodies should be able to handle a lot of stress, but there again comes a limit. And if you have the correct nutrition, yourself with your food every day, you're getting chiropractic adjustments so the nervous system works correctly, you're keeping, that's how you'd be actually healthy. But even taking medication takes that out of balance. So we want to get rid of that if we can. And I think that's enough for me today. Just some quick helps there, and hopefully you all can have a great 4th of July weekend next weekend. We won't have a health shop next Monday. We come back from Chicago at a wedding, so it should be a fun weekend for us. Everyone have a safe 4th of July, and really enjoy the remembrance that this country is a great country. We've been around for a long time and hope to be around much longer, but we have to realize and be thankful for the Constitution, for the things that have made this country so great, and understand what these things really are. If you're just mad at the world, then that's fine, but we like to keep the country the way it is. So probably not for me. I better get going before I get in trouble. I'll let Dr. Chip take over, and have a great evening.
All right, very good. Awesome. What's going on, everybody? Okay, so again, Dr. Chip here, and we're going to go ahead and keep rolling here. So, again, just kind of with the anxiety, depression here is that, again, a lot of times we think is that we don't have all these issues when we get to go on vacation or we get to sit at the beach or anything that kind of is kind of, you would say, seems like a very relaxing experience there too. But believe it or not, some people that are on the beach or sitting there in a nice environment there, they still have they can still have anxiety, depression. So again, some of that is that it's pretty easy to be nice and calm and peaceful here, but when it gets into the real world, kind of the busy work, home life, all that stuff, kind of different relationships with different people there too, it can get again kind of you would say hectic or not as you would say easeful as this. And so when it comes to this time, we have to be able to willingly be able to regulate different things there too. And we'll kind of talk about that. But definitely in society here and there is that we've gotten so used to this busy lifestyle. And of course, we got to work, we got to, again, pay the bills and all that too. And so again, that's important. But again, it's it's very important there too to realize what our health or how our health is affected if we are just kind of in that steady state of kind of go or kind of more of that anxiety or the depressed more is that we don't have the necessary energy to you'd say do actually good work. And so just going back is that all this is kind of stating or kind of what I'm saying here is that when we're in this state or when we're in this environment, it's easy to be nice and peaceful. But again, when we're in this state and a lot of things are going on, we have to be able to help ourselves to regulate more so that we don't get tossed over so much into these different aspects, such as you'd say anxiety or depression. And so again, always going back to it, is that what does affect the brain and body to allow such things to happen, such as anxiety, depression. And we'll kind of talk about those too, is that, again, there's two ways of seeing that. So again, stress relief, but again, what's the kind of stress? What does it come from? And so again, we have that physical trauma. Again, that can be definitely just more of physical injuries, impacts on the body. It can also be, again, working out too much or not working out enough. Again, we need to move our body, get good circulation, good blood flow, helping the lymph to drain, all that too. But again, if we're overly doing it, and again, there's definitely trained ways of doing it. There's good ways to do it. If you want to exercise a good amount, you need to actually help to rest and recover there as well. So again, there's got to be a fine balance there. Nutrition and chemical. Again, just like you can kind of think of that, getting good nutrients in our body, getting vitamins, minerals, everything there too, allows our bodies to function well. And again, it's just the vitamins and minerals are helping our bodies to carry out processes in a good, efficient manner. But chemical, you would say, is that chemicals in our environment can be irritating for some things or for some people. But just kind of like you would say, one thing is, you say coffee. Again, everybody loves coffee. I'm a fan of coffee, but again, I know my limit. I know what I can do. And if we do, again, just say we drink too much coffee, we can get that jitteriness. We can get that almost that anxious feeling. And so again, we don't want to go too far into that nature there as well. And then again, we got emotional and thoughts. Now again, you would say many times is that we need to be able to know how our body functions. We know how it all works together too. And so when we're able to kind of just rest, relax, and you'd say meditate, contemplate, anything like that, it helps our nervous system, it helps our body to rebalance, recalibrate. And when we just kind of find times in the day, again, just kind of being, again, more calm, more relaxed, we're able to give our body and brain the necessary amount of time to help rebalance and recenter there too. And again, over time, when we start to do that, we're actually able to build, you would say, almost a muscle there to where we're actually able to adapt to our environment very nicely. And so again, definitely a ton of different ways to do this or ways for healing, but again, that's kind of the main or brief way of saying it. Now again, we're going back to the nervous system, again, the autonomic nervous system, and how this works again. Our nervous system is the one that picks up different cues from our environment. And so again, we have, you would say, different modes of our nervous system, one being our sympathetic nervous system. Now again, that's kind of more of your fight or flight. Now this can be more related to, you would say, that anxiety mode. So when this is, you would say, revved up almost too much, or if it's in a constant state, then again, that's when we start feeling the anxiety. But again, anxiety is just a name or a label put on for a nervous condition. Now again, there's another way of saying it, but again, that's not too crazy to think about, just because when our nervous system does get unbalanced in a way, and like we said, it gets kind of more shifted into this system here, this mode, and that's when we can kind of have that jitteriness or that shakiness or that kind of the worry, all that too. So that's kind of what's happening right here. And again, that's because we got unbalanced to a point where now we're having those symptoms or those signs. Now again, this mode is not a bad mode. It's actually really helpful in those times of extreme or intense environments where we need to actually run, or you could say like a burning building or a car that's about to hit us or anything like that. We need to get out of the way, or we need to get out. And again, that system is very helpful for that. Now the parasympathetic system is more of a rest and digest. Now this could be more of when we're actually going too far that way, and if we can't get into this mode anymore, we're kind of stuck. That could be more of, you'd say, that depressed nature there too. And so again, it's more of that the nervous system just got unbalanced so much, or the brain and body got unbalanced to where now we're expressing those different symptoms or those signs there too. So again, just another way of seeing it, to where what can we do for ourselves to help ourselves to restore, to recalibrate, and to rejuvenate ourselves to where we can actually have the good energy and stable energy to be more balanced in the middle here too. So that's kind of part of those systems. Now again, like we said, the nervous system has different modes. It's doing a lot of different processes. The brain is communicating to the body, making sure things are happening well. But again, sometimes the brain and body can get stuck in these different modes. Why is that? Well, the nervous system again picks up information from an environment using 5 senses: your sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. Now, again, if it does pick up those different sights or smells, taste, touch, and hearing, if it picks it up in a way that seems frightful, again, it could be anxiety. It could be something that you might have even experienced before, where now you want to be able to kind of reset or know that environment is, you would say, safe, or it's okay. So just kind of like you would say is that if you're kind of in the dark, you're in the dark, or you're at night, you're going through the woods, and you hear the sound or you hear something like that, you may think it's some predator or whatever that's out there, or maybe even a skunk. That's kind of sprayy. That's never pleasant. But again, that's when you want to get out or get a run. But say same thing. You saw it and you said, "Oh, that's just a small house cat." Again, you would be kind of more, it wouldn't care anymore. And so now your nervous system picks it up, gets the information, and then it's able to respond appropriately. So again, it's kind of more of how your nervous system, how your brain and body responds to its environment rather than reacts to it too much. And so that's just kind of what we said about those different modes, is that if we're stuck in these modes, we're not able to respond effectively to our environment. And so like we said there too, is that just kind of, you would say, a brain on replay. But again, it's just responding to the environment. It's how we are reacting or responding. And so our brain, you can kind of see, is like the chemist. Again, it's kind of the person that's actually has all the chemicals in place, or all the potions or whatever the chemists use. Again, the chemicals or anything like that. And the body is more of like the experiment. It's where now, as the brain is, the chemist is using different measurements and chemicals, then it's actually showing what's going on. And so that's kind of more of the body. The body is expressing how the brain is effectively communicating or picking up information from the environment. So again, just another example or analogy of how it kind of works there. So what can we do? What can we actually help ourselves? How do we become more balanced in our state? How can we not have so much of one thing or the other? Again, kind of more of the extremes there is that we want to go back to balance. We want to get back to center. And again, it's just kind of more of a practice. It's more of being able to be in the moment here. And again, there's many things that can kind of get you off balance or thrown off. But the more you practice, again, just like a muscle, you come back to focus, you come back to the center there, and you can, build that up too. Build up more of like an endurance. And so again, just easy thing here. That's not that hard. To stop and relax. Of course, in the moment, that's hard to do. So again, it's a good idea to actually practice this at the beginning of the day or at night, just when you're not in the intense environment there too. You can breathe slowly in and out. Again, our breath is a good indicator of how our brain and body are functioning at that time, based on the environment. So when we can see that our breath is shallow, it could mean that it's a stressful environment, and then we are able to voluntarily control our breath and help our nervous system to regulate back to normal there too. Place attention on your breath. A lot of times too is that when we are getting stressed or anything, we're trying to be, stop, relax, we're trying to place our breath. There's different thoughts or different things that are going off in our mind that can kind of take us back off of that moment right there. So again, that's why they kind of tell to focus on your breath, just something that's helping to regulate things there too. And then again, where your focus or attention goes, your energy goes. So kind of more of helping to stay focused on the breath will help you stay in that moment, and again, kind of more subside things there too. And so again, just a nice easy way of doing it. 5-10 minutes, you can go longer, 15-20. But again, just a practice. Again, it's just more of being able to help yourself regulate better. And of course too, different modalities such as nutrition, chiropractic, different practices there too, help to balance out the body in a good way so that we're able to get back to neutral. And again, that's why then again, we're not really fighting the depression or anxiety. We're really just helping the body get back to balance and good health. So that's and again, just two ways of seeing it. So that is it for tonight. Again, you can always follow us at Natural Health Quincy IL at Facebook, YouTube, Brighteon, and Instagram. You can subscribe to our email list at naturalhealthquincy.com. We're located at 2000 Jefferson Street in Quincy, Illinois. The number is 217-228-2040. So again, thank you so much for watching. And again, like Dr. Mark said there too, we will not have a health shop next week. So happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and let's keep this country healthy. Have a good one.